dad being a minister, I sung in church most of my life. That's how I think I developed as an artist, because you have the microphone to perform in, the congregation's your audience, and the pulpit's your stage.
Yeah.
So for me, it helped me get to where I am today. By the time I got in high school, my parents became United Methodists, so things got a little better. But I remember we didn't celebrate Christmas or Halloween or any holidays.
Yeah.
So I didn't really put up a Christmas tree really till I was in college. I remember feeling pretty guilty about that.
Now,
Yeah.
just getting away from the music for a minute, because I just find this so fascinating. Not only were you not allowed to listen to popular music, which kind of, I mean, it's shocking that you ended up doing what you did. But you weren't allowed to wear, is it true, pants?
Definitely
sandals,
true.
makeup, all of these things?
Well, we were very Old Testament, King James Old Testament style. We couldn't wear sandals because that was exposing your nakedness. You couldn't wear pants because that was something pertaining to a male. And wearing makeup made you a holic. Just saying with the words they told us when I was a child.
Holic.
Yes.
And that means?
So, a worldly woman.
Oh.
I know, right?
I understand. Okay. That was such a proper
That was
way.
very Tudors, right? Anyway, very old school, very traditional, almost orthodox in our teachings.
It doesn't sound like it's a bad thing, though. I mean, if you think about it.
It wasn't a bad thing, but I think because we went to a public school, that's when I noticed I was different. While when I was at church, of course, you know, the other kids are just like me, but at public school, I was a different child. The religious, weird people that lived down the street.
Yeah. So now, when did that all? You said that they changed a little. The religion changed a little bit. Is that when?
By the time I got to high school, it got better. I got to go to my high school prom, which was great. Cool. By the time I got to college, things got better because I moved out.
That always helps.
Exactly, that helps a lot. You know, when I was 15, my parents did let me wear pants for the first time.
Yes.
And I was really excited. It was super cold outside. I'm from Maryland, and it was like a blizzard outside, so I got to wear pants. By the time I got to high school, I remember when I moved out on my own, I felt a little guilty about things, but after a while I got a little bit more comfortable, and I put up a Christmas tree. I remember the year I put it up, and I blasted the music as loud as I could. It was actually Summertime by Will Smith.
Oh my God,
and
what
I
a great
blasted
song.
As loud as I could. I just felt freedom.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I was going to say, when do you, who are some of the artists that you first listened to, and did you have to sneak it?
I used to sneak and listen to a lot of things. I used to sneak and watch Soul Train a lot and American Bandstand. I remember that, and they were like ending at that time, but I remember it still was on the air, and that helped me a lot know what secular music was. But I loved it. I fell in love with it because my bus driver used to always play this song called Don't Stop.
What about tomorrow?
Yeah, who sings That's Gonna Kill Me?
Oh, Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac. My bus driver loved Fleetwood Mac and would always play them. So that's how I kind of learned about secular music. That was my first taste from
so interesting.
Yeah, the bus driver.
Yeah, and then you later on with the sexy outfits. Who knew?
No, I always, you know,
rebelling.
I was rebelling. I would watch movies and get inspired because I've always loved fashion, and Marilyn Monroe is my favorite, and I just fell in love with music and fashion together.
Well, it's obviously you fell in love with music, because is this an accurate story? You were singing at a gas station?
I was at a gas station at college. I put gas in my car.
Yeah.
You know, they're always on E when you're in college.
Of course.
And this gas attendant came up to me and he said, "Are you a singer?" And I'm thinking, okay, this is a line, and it's a terrible line. Yeah. Because I was singing around all over the city at the opening of a Band-Aid, whatever they had, I would sing at it.
Right.
And he said, "I've seen you sing around the city. I'm like a producer, and I have a studio in my home, and I would love for you to come and do some demos." I know, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking,
in my
okay, right, what does that mean? But I took a risk.
Yeah.
But I took my girlfriend in case he was cuckoo.
Good job.
But it turned out to be legit. He's the guy who co-wrote the song "Girl You Know Is True" by Milli Vanilli.
No way.
Yes, and he was working as a gas attendant because the song was just starting to happen in Europe.
Yeah.
And I guess he had to have a job. He had to work in the meantime. And from there, I got connected to LA and Babyface, which were subsidiaries of Arista Records as well.
Right. And starting off, before you did any albums, you ended up lucking out on a soundtrack for the Eddie Murphy movie Boomerang. What was it? Just because? I mean, did you call Anita Baker and say thank you for being pregnant?
I have thanked her a bazillion times. It's definitely because of her that I'm in this chair right now in the studio.
Really?
Yes, because she was supposed to do the songs for the Boomerang soundtrack. Ellie and Babyface had the soundtrack, and I did the demos. And she couldn't do it for whatever personal reason. She was pregnant or whatever, what have you. And she said, "Well, what's wrong with that girl singing it? Won't you guys use her?"
Now, when you say demo, people watching at home not necessarily know. It's kind of something that you do
when writers write songs. Babyface is a writer and a singer. Right. He wrote in LA. They wrote the song for Anita Baker, but they wanted a female's voice on it. So instead of Babyface singing it to show her how the song goes, because he wrote it, he had me perform the vocals. Wow. Yeah.
And you probably never knew who your vocals and demos were going to.
I had no
you just
idea.
Sang them and
do it. And
wow,
one of the songs was "You Mean the World to Me."
Yeah.
Love Should Have Brought You Home. Great songs like that were for her.
You sang all of them first for her before she even sang
exactly.
them.
They became mine. They were the actual demos that they used, which was great. Yeah.
So ultimately that led to your release of your debut album, your self-titled. Did you imagine at all that debut was going to shoot out like 8 million albums sold?
I didn't know that, but I always knew it was going to happen. I used to dream about it all the time.
Really?
All the time.
Did you speak it a lot?
Spoke it often. I would always tell my brother I'm going to work with Babyface because I was a huge Babyface fan. My brother teased. He always says, I have to give it up to you because you always said your life is exactly what you said it was going to be. I never imagined on this magnitude, I have to be honest, but I always said I'm going to work with Babyface one day.
Wow, that really goes to show you the power of positive thinking and just believing what you want.
Yes, that's the great my parents taught us.
I've got goosebumps. All right, we got to take a break. I have to towel off. This is such a great conversation. Coming up, Toni Braxton went from becoming an international superstar to the health scare that cut short her history-making Las Vegas debut, plus more hits, including new songs off her new release, Pulse, right here when Private Sessions returns.